probably the first time in the history of Bitcoin that we have true price discovery. And what I mean by that is this is the first time that anyone who wants to buy it has easy access to buy it.
What if I told you there's a financial revolution happening right under our noses? An asset once dismissed as a fad is now being embraced by institutional giants like BlackRock. Baby boomers with $85 trillion in wealth are getting in on the action. Mike Novogratz, billionaire investor and CEO of Galaxy Digital, calls it true price discovery where the real value of Bitcoin is finally being uncovered. But he also warns of a crypto frenzy with frothy levels and the risks of a massive correction as speculators get over-leveraged chasing gains. So is this a bubble ready to burst, or the beginning of a tokenized future that will change finance forever? Check out these shocking clips from Novogratz's latest interview where he breaks it all down, the institutional money pouring in, the supply-demand imbalance, regulatory battles, and why he thinks Bitcoin could eventually be larger than gold.
And so, right, baby boomers have $85 trillion of wealth. Their wealth is, for the most part, managed through registered investment advisors who now, at least half of them or some portion of them, can just buy the ETF. And so you're seeing, a step function in new owners of Bitcoin, which is driving, I would say, a frenzy in the whole crypto ecosystem, right? So how crypto always works is Bitcoin gets bought and some people sell a little bit to buy Ethereum and they try to play the catch-ups and the altcoins. And I would say we've gotten to very frothy levels. You can see it in the funding rates of the altcoin market, how much you get paid to actually lend out your coins in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the alts. And so you saw it in the equities, the public equity markets, right? MicroStrategy, Marathon, all the kind of public equity bellwethers really went parabolic along with Bitcoin. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see some correction and some consolidation. But I'm very loath to pick a Bitcoin high because I really do believe this is price discovery. Will we test the old high? Most likely. And you'll probably have some consolidation. But I still think we're going to end the year much higher. We broke out from 45,000, and so that would probably be what should hold us if there's a real correction. You never know why corrections come. Something happens and people shift mindset, and there's a lot of people that have bought recently. I don't think it'll get there, quite frankly. I think if it corrects, it probably corrects to the mid-50s before taking off to the new high. First the old high, that's 68, 69,000.
What do you think Bitcoin is a year from now?
Much higher. Listen, how do you put yardsticks around something? Right? We know gold is a $12 trillion asset. Bitcoin's about a tenth of gold. Could Bitcoin be half of gold? At one point, sure it could. It will be. And at one point, it will be larger than gold, right? Again, for every Charlie Munger, God rest his soul, who passes away, that money is finding its way into Gen Z and millennials. And they feel much more comfortable with digital gold than old clunky gold. I'm kind of halfway in between. I like a little of both. I got some gold coins that we give out on our podcast because it's, you can touch it. But I go to a lot more Bitcoin than I do gold. What has been unbelievably impressive about the core Bitcoin community is just how resilient they've been. Down, I remember doing an interview with you a year ago, at 18,000. And the core Bitcoiners just took pain. And so I don't think the core group of people that have owned this thing and really loved it and promoted it, there are no sellers there. Michael Saylor ain't selling. And the, new people are going to kind of ease in. Listen, I don't think you're buying it into your 401k and selling it a month later, right? And so most of this new money, I think, is going to be sticky money or hodler money in crypto terms. But the retail, the young speculation that's happening on, all the apps and on Robinhood and on Coinbase and everywhere else, that's going to have blow off tops and blow off bottoms and people are going to get chopped up like they always do in speculative mania.
In the ever-evolving world of cryptocurrencies, few moments have been as captivating as the current Bitcoin rally. As the world's largest cryptocurrency continues its parabolic ascent, breaking through one resistance level after another, a seismic shift is underway, the era of institutional adoption and true price discovery. Mike Novogratz, a Wall Street veteran and the founder of Galaxy Digital, a leading crypto investment firm, has been at the forefront of this revolutionary movement. In a candid interview, Novogratz shed light on the driving forces behind Bitcoin's meteoric rise, the frenzied interest from institutional investors, and the implications for the broader crypto ecosystem. According to Novogratz, the catalyst for the current Bitcoin frenzy can be traced back to the baby boomer generation and their staggering $85 trillion in wealth. This immense pool of capital, traditionally managed by registered investment advisors, has found a new home in the form of Bitcoin ETFs. With the approval of Bitcoin ETFs, a new era of accessibility and legitimacy has dawned upon the cryptocurrency market, ushering in a wave of institutional investment. Prominent investment firms like BlackRock, once skeptical of cryptocurrencies, have now embraced Bitcoin as a viable asset class. In a remarkable shift, BlackRock has endorsed Bitcoin as an important part of the future, deploying an army of salespeople to promote its adoption among institutional clients.
There's a new army of buyers. There's an army of salespeople. I mean, what BlackRock is doing is breathtaking, right? That's an army of salespeople being endorsed by their CEOs saying, guys, this is an important part of the future. We didn't have that 6 months ago. And so I do think it's going to be hard to figure out where equilibrium is in the next 6 to 12 months. Before the halving, with that 60,000 Bitcoin, it's about $54 million a day of new supply, right? We have one customer who's one of the retail apps that pretty much buys $30 to $35 million a day just with us. And I'm sure we're not the only person they buy with, right? There is a tremendous global demand for Bitcoin. And so when you see what's driving the market day to day right now is at 8 o'clock at night, all the ETFs talk about how much they bought or sold, and it was $500 million or $400 million. As long as those numbers stay positive, you're going to see some momentum in Bitcoin. The first day they go negative, people are going to sell off Bitcoin because they think, oh, the ETF funds are going to slow. And so that's kind of like the insider's way of looking at this in the short term. But that's a little myopic. Let's look each month at what the total flows into Bitcoin is from that ETF community plus other communities. After the halving, that 54 million goes to 27 million. I mean, that's bid-ask spread right now. And so there's just not a lot of supply. This is one of the least inflationary assets or most deflationary assets there is. It's why, when you see our government spending so much money, people are drawn to this narrative. Same logic that the Bitcoin ETF got through on, which was there's already a futures ETF. If you believed in that, how dare you not believe in a cash ETF? Holds for Ethereum. And so my bias is it gets through sometime this year, but we'll see. Gary Gensler has been very careful about not declaring Ethereum a security. And you can have your own idea why. Not declaring Ethereum not a security. And you can have your own hypothesis why or why not. I would say it opens the gate if one proof of stake, crypto protocol like Ethereum is not a security. Well, what about the next one and the next one and the next one? And so all of a sudden his argument that these are all securities would probably go out the window. And so I'm sure there's a lot of internal to and fro around this question. But the reality is we already have an Ethereum futures ETF, and that was the logic that got the Bitcoin ETF approved. And so my bias is it happened. We have debased our currency. We've had asset inflation. At times we've had goods inflation. When you're printing as much money as we're printing, when we have constant now 5-6% of budget deficits, hard assets go up, and Bitcoin is a hard asset for the new generation. It is digital gold. And if you just keep on digital gold, this is why people are buying it. And that narrative is powerful. What would change that narrative, that adoption narrative? Well, we have a new president that probably not Biden or Trump, and he gets Congress to pass a balanced budget amendment or a Simpson-Bowles amendment, and we start trying to take that 130% of debt to GDP back to 80. Right now it's headed to 250. And so that is literally if you just look at the graph of debt to GDP in America and many other countries, and that is the advertisement for why people buy Bitcoin.